We are heading into one of the craziest NBA seasons of all time. The entire landscape has been reshuffled and nothing feels predictable anymore. Superstars have switched teams, the biggest trade in league history just went down, and we are about to see the debut of a rookie that some are already calling the best prospect since LeBron James. This isn't business as usual. New contenders are rising, old powers are crumbling, and every franchise is chasing that one goal, the championship. So this might just be the season preview you've been waiting for. The rookies to watch, the contenders to fear, and the changes that will reshape the league. So let's dive into it. The story of this season starts with the 2025 NBA draft. At number 1, Cooper Flagg to the Dallas Mavericks. And let's be real, this kid is special. They're calling him a unicorn, the most complete prospect since LeBron James. He's got elite defensive instincts, a high basketball IQ, and scoring versatility that makes him dangerous on both ends. Now here's the twist. Luka Doncic is gone. He's in LA with LeBron. That means Dallas is entering a brand new era, with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis as the veteran stars and Flagg stepping in as the franchise cornerstone. He will probably be in the starting lineup with restricted minutes. He's the guy Dallas is betting everything on. So let's take a look at number 2. Dylan Harper to the San Antonio Spurs. A crafty left-handed guard with serious playmaking skills. Put him next to Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox and suddenly the Spurs don't just have a future, they have a core that could dominate for the next decade. At number 3, we are looking at VJ Edgecombe to the Sixers. Explosive, athletic, relentless on defense. He could give Embiid and Maxey a spark they desperately needed, and he could be a difference maker right away. At 4, Con Knüppel. He goes to the Hornets. One of the best shooters in his class. Quick release, high IQ, a guy who can stretch the floor immediately. Not too flashy, but exactly what the Charlotte Hornets needed to open up their offense. At 5, we are looking at Ace Bailey to the Utah Jazz. A versatile forward with major upside. Athletic, smooth scorer, and a potential star if his development stays on track. Utah needs a face of the franchise, and Bailey could grow into that role. And at 6, Trey Johnson to the Washington Wizards. Maybe the best pure scorer in his draft class. Washington's rebuilding, so they can afford to let him grow. But make no mistake, he can put the ball in the basket from day one. Now, the big storyline isn't just the top picks, it's the strategy. Dallas, San Antonio, Philly, they targeted star-level talent. But the Brooklyn Nets, they went for volume. 5 first-rounders. Ego Denham, Nolan Traoré, Drake Powell, Ben Saraf, and Danny Wolf. That's not about winning now. That's about throwing darts at the board and hoping at least one becomes a future star. On top of that draft haul, Brooklyn added Michael Porter Jr. in a trade with Denver, giving them a proven scorer to balance out all the youth on this roster. So the draft already showed us two sides of today's NBA. Teams that want to win right away and teams that are playing the long game. And that contrast is going to shape the season and maybe the next decade. But the off-season moves reshaped the league overnight, because this summer was pure chaos. The biggest headline? Kevin Durant to the Houston Rockets. And this wasn't just a superstar changing teams. It was officially called the biggest trade in NBA history. Why though? Because it involved 7 teams, 13 players, multiple draft picks, and completely flipped the futures of Houston and Phoenix. The Rockets went all in, sacrificing depth and assets to get Durant. And overnight, they jumped from a young rebuilding squad to a team people are calling championship ready. And let's not forget Luka Doncic. He's already suited up for the Lakers, but now it's official. Luka and LeBron are running the show in LA. Add in DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart and the Lakers have one of the scariest rosters on paper. Can Luka and LeBron actually share the spotlight? And can they stay healthy long enough to make it work? Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic made one of the smartest moves of the summer, trading for Desmond Bane. Alongside Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, Bane is the perfect fit. Shooting, spacing, and toughness. With Tyus Jones adding depth, Orlando suddenly looks like a team ready to compete now. Boston, on the other hand, shook things up by swapping Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons and also sending Kristaps Porzingis to Atlanta. Those moves boosted their scoring, but cost them defense, size, and veteran leadership. Let's look at other notable moves. Julius Randle re-signed with Minnesota, keeping their contender status alive. Miles Turner joined Giannis in Milwaukee, rim protection and spacing in one, and Jonas Valanciunas landed in Denver, giving the Denver Nuggets another big body to work with alongside Jokic. Chris Paul at 40 is back at the Clippers for one more run, and the Hornets added Colin Sexton to help LaMelo Ball run the show. Altogether, It was a summer of moves that quietly but clearly influenced which teams we'll be talking about all year long. Those were the moves, but what do they mean for the actual race in each conference? Let's start with the East. The East is stacked with talent, but it's also wide open. Let's start with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics come in with major question marks. Kristaps Porzingis is gone, Jrue Holiday was swapped for Anthony Simons, and Jason Tatum is rehabbing an Achilles tear that will sideline him for a big part of the year. Boston still has Jaylen Brown, but this is no longer the same powerhouse. The Celtics will have to prove they can stay competitive while key pieces are missing. Atlanta shook things up in its front court by bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, giving Trae Young a true stretch big to work with. Jalen Johnson looks ready to take another step, and Onyeka Okongwu adds interior defense. With Luke Kennard providing shooting, the Hawks have spacing and size, but overall depth leaves a big question mark. Then there's the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis now has Miles Turner next to him, and that's huge. It means more rim protection, more spacing, and maybe a second win for the team that felt like it was slipping. But without Damian Lillard, who went back to Portland, Milwaukee is relying heavily on Giannis to carry the load. Don't sleep on the 76ers either. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey finally have real help with rookie VJ Edgecombe, who brings energy and athleticism. The Sixers also have Paul George, but he's recovering from a knee injury and will be re-evaluated before training camp, so his status for opening night is still uncertain. The Orlando Magic are the team everyone's watching. Banchero, Wagner and now Desmond Bane, plus depth with Tyus Jones, they are strong, tough and are ready to take that leap from an ambitious young team to a legitimate contender. The Knicks moved on from Julius Randle. Now they are leaning heavily on the duo of Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. With Towns' inside-out game complementing Brunson's scoring and playmaking, New York's identity shifts more toward a versatile offense built around that pairing. The Cleveland Cavaliers, on the other hand, might be flying under the radar. Donovan Mitchell is locked in. Evan Mobley keeps evolving, and with Jared Allen anchoring the paint, they've got one of the most balanced cores in the East. And now with Lonzo Ball in the mix, they finally have a true floor general who can organize the offense and take pressure off Garland and Mitchell. If Lonzo stays healthy, Cleveland could easily sneak into the conversation as a real contender. Toronto's outlook changes with Brandon Ingram in the building. Pairing him with Scotty Barnes gives the Raptors a true two-wing engine, with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly supporting the perimeter. Ingram's ankle status will be worth monitoring early, but if he and Barnes stay healthy, Toronto suddenly has the balance to push higher in the East. If we take a look at the Miami Heat, Miami already lost Jimmy Butler, leaving Bam Adebayo to carry a huge load. But now they will have to wait until Tyler Hero returns from foot surgery to get their offensive firepower back. And in Washington, the Wizards added CJ McCollum, giving their young roster some much needed veteran stability as they continue their rebuild. The Pacers shocked everyone with the finals run last year. But with Tyrese Halliburton sidelined by an Achilles injury, their ceiling looks very different this season. The East is tough. I see Milwaukee as the front runner, thanks to their new big man lineup that gives Giannis more support. But Cleveland shouldn't be overlooked either. The depth of their roster makes them a serious contender. So the East is not just Milwaukee and Boston anymore. The rise of Orlando, the revamped Sixers, the tough Knicks, and the upgraded Cavaliers mean this conference might be deeper than we've seen in years. But if the East feels wide open, the West might be even crazier. Because out there, it's not just about depth, it's about superstar power. And this year, the Western Conference has more of it than ever before. Let's start with the obvious, the Los Angeles Lakers. We've already talked about it. Luka Doncic and LeBron James are officially running the show. Add in DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart on the paper, this team is loaded. The only question is whether Luka and LeBron can actually share the floor without stepping on each other and whether they can stay healthy deep into the season. The Golden State Warriors made headlines by bringing in Jimmy Butler. On paper, a trio of Curry, Butler and Draymond adds grit, scoring and championship experience. But is this the start of a new chapter or just the last stand of a legendary core? Let's see what the season brings us. Then you've got the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant is now in Houston, teaming up with Alperen Şengün, and suddenly, this young team turned into a contender overnight. But Fred VanVleet's ACL injury means Houston is missing a key leader in the backcourt. We've seen Durant join loaded rosters before, and it hasn't always worked out the way he hoped. But maybe this time, surrounded by younger legs and fresh energy, KD feels the formula again. Of course, you can't ignore the Oklahoma City Thunder either. Coming off a 68-14 season, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams are already proven they are the future. The question isn't whether they will compete, It's whether they can repeat their dominance or even take another step towards a championship run. Denver moved on from Michael Porter Jr., trading him to Brooklyn for Cam Johnson and a future first-round pick. With Jokic, Murray, Gordon and now Jonas Valanciunas in the mix, the Nuggets look deeper than ever and remain firmly in the title conversation. And then there are the Dallas Mavericks. With Luka gone, they've pivoted into a new identity, built around Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis. But Kyrie is expected to miss the start of the season because of his ACL injury, which puts even more pressure on Davis, Flagg and the rest of the Dallas squad. If Davis stays on the floor and Kyrie returns fully healthy, the Mavs might be a tougher out than people think. And don't forget about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is becoming a superstar, and re-signing Julius Randle gives him even more scoring punch. They've got size, defense and firepower, and no one's taken them lightly anymore. The Clippers might be making one last push with Chris Paul back in LA, joined by Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Brook Lopez and John Collins. It's a loaded roster, but it has to stay healthy when it matters most. The Pelicans reshaped their backcourt, sending CJ McCollum to Washington and bringing in Jordan Poole. With Zion and Murray as their core, this gives New Orleans a younger, more unpredictable look, though defense remains a question mark. Meanwhile, the Suns are entering a rebuild. With Durant gone to Houston and Bradley Beal bought out, Phoenix is shifting away from contention. The Kings had a quieter offseason. They traded Jonas Valanciunas for Dario Saric, signed Dennis Schroeder to stabilize the backcourt, and after dominating in the Eurobasket, he looks ready to contribute right away. So while the East seems somewhat balanced, the West is even tougher. Denver looks absolutely scary with their depth and their ability to run a two big man lineup. But OKC once again feels like a team that could crash the party. It's wide open, but I think Denver sets the bar. But beyond the teams, it's the players who are going to shape how the season plays out. From breaking stars to rookies to the MVP race, the award battles might be just as competitive as the standings themselves. So let's take a look at each one of those. Let's start with the most improved player. For MIP, a few names really stand out. Andrew Nembhard is my pick for the most improved player this year. He might be the favorite. With Tyrese Haliburton battling injuries, especially that setback in the playoffs, Nembhard could be asked to take on a much bigger role in Indiana. He's shown flashes as a steady playmaker, and with more usage, he could explode. In Portland, we got Danny Avdija. He enters his second season with the Blazers, and with Damian Lillard sidelined by injury, he will have more responsibility than ever. And don't forget Benedict Mathurin. His athleticism and scoring touch are there, and if he can stay consistent, he has all the tools to make that next leap Indiana desperately needs. So far so good, let's jump to the next award. Defensive Player of the Year. This award might be shaping up into a three-way battle between the league's next generation of bigs. Evan Mobley is the reigning decoy, anchoring Cleveland's defense with his length and instincts. The question is whether he can sustain that level or even push it further. Then we got Chet Holmgren. He is heading into what's technically his fourth season, but really his third on the floor after missing his entire rookie year with an injury. Last season, he was one of the centerpieces of OKC's 68-14 run, protecting the rim and moving like a guard on switches. With another year of strength and reps, he's getting only scarier. My pick for Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Wemby. He was already close in his rookie year, and without the injury last season, I think he could have taken it. His length and instincts make him the most dominant defender in the league, and if he stays healthy, I don't see anyone else winning. So let's jump to the Rookie of the Year. This rookie class is loaded with guys who can contribute right away. First up, of course, Cooper Flagg. He looks like the clear front runner. He's not just NBA ready, he's already played against pros at this level before even stepping into the league. That experience combined with his two-way skill set and confidence makes him the rare rookie who can immediately impact winning. Then we are looking at Trey Johnson. He might not have the same hype, but his situation could work perfectly in his favor. On the Wizards, he's probably going to get big minutes and plenty of opportunities to score. If he's efficient, he could put up big numbers that keep him in the Rookie of the Year conversation all year long. The next guy is Dylan Harper. He steps into a Spurs team that already has a strong young core around Wemby. San Antonio has shown they like giving their draft picks real responsibility early, and Harper's combination of pace control, explosiveness and secondary playmaking could make him an instant contributor. With that support system, his rookie year could be a lot bigger than people expect. Let's jump to the last category. the most valuable player. The MVP race feels as crowded as it ever been. My MVP pick is Luka. Doncic enters a season with something to prove. After an intense offseason of training and the blockbuster trade that put him into the Lakers spotlight, this year feels like his chance to show just how valuable he really is. The numbers will be there. The question is, can he turn them into wins at the very top of the West? Next up, there's Nikola Jokic. Every year he puts up historic efficiency and playmaking, and his case is almost automatic. Last season, one of the reasons he didn't take it home was team success. OKC simply overshadowed Denver, but if the Nuggets climb back near the top, Jokic will once again be right there. And if we are talking about Jokic, we need to talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's coming off a 68-14 season, one of the best records we've seen in years. He's a super efficient two-way guard who carried OKC on both ends of the floor. But we need to ask ourselves, can he sustain that level or even take another step forward? Let's not forget about Giannis. Giannis Antetokounmpo is always in the mix. Where Giannis is, there's always dominance. If he maintains that level of physicality and impact, and if Milwaukee ends up with one of the best records in the East, another MVP run is very much in play. And of course, we need to talk about the wild card. Victor Wembanyama. He's not fully defined, but it seems like he has limitless potential. The Spurs have built a stronger team around him, and if they turn it into real wins, Wemby could take a leap nobody saw coming. He's the kind of player who would suddenly put it all together in one season, and if he does, he might be the youngest MVP we've ever seen. So those are the award races that could shape the year. From rookies making an instant impact to MVP candidates trying to cement their legacy. This season feels like it has everything. And that's your full guide for the 25-26 NBA season. The stars, the storylines, and the rivalries. Now I want to hear from you. Who's your pick for MVP? Which rookie do you think takes home Rookie of the Year? And which team is going to shock everybody? Drop your predictions in the comments. I'll be reading through them. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the deep dives we've got coming this season. And remember, stay tactical.